Right guys, and you've asked for it many times and I've eventually got hold of one, the Yukon Photon day and night sight. So I've got one coming up in this video, a review on this scope. Right guys, Picatinny here, Steve, and yes, this video is all about the Yukon Photon day and night scope. Ever since I did the ATM video series, which I'll leave a link up here for that whole series, about 10 videos on that, I have had constant questions, literally, I'm not joking, every other day. When are you going to do the Yukon? When are you going to do the Yukon, Steve? The Yukon's something else that you can try. Yeah, I know, trust me, it's not easy getting hold of kit when I don't really want to go and buy it all myself. So my father actually went and got one of these a couple of months ago, and I've eventually managed to pry it out of his hands so I could review it. And I also got hold of his BSA Ultra SE, and yes, there is a video coming up on this rifle. Cracking little rifle, I really do like it. But anyway, today's focus is all on the Yukon itself. And what I'll do as well is I'll leave some links down below, so make sure you check those video link descriptions down there. I'll put some links to some retailers on here. Uttings I think I'll put down there, and I've got no affiliation to those. I'm just giving you those links so you can check it out yourself and look at the full specs on it there. But yeah, a cracking little scope on here, and I've been really excited to have a play with this. So what I'm going to do is we're going to take it off the rifle and then we'll just walk through it, and we'll also give you some footage of it in day and at night time, and obviously as usual we'll give it a full appraisal, a review at the end, and what I think about it, my true honest opinions about it. So we're going to take it off the rifle and we'll be right back. The Yukon Photon comes in two major types, and both of them are fixed magnification of 4.6 magnification and a 6 magnification. So the one I've got here is the absolute basic, which is a 4.6 42mm objective lens. And then you can get the 6 times fixed magnification at 50 objective lens, and then each one of those, they also do a model that has recording ability so that you can record the functionality. Now the prices will range from about £380 all the way up to about just under £600, but I'll leave if I sit over this side, I'll leave a full list down here so you can have a look, freeze frame, and again check the video descriptions. I'll leave a link to Uttings where you can find all of that information down there. Well, that's the box it comes in, and what we've done is I've opened the box up already, and if we take a look, you get a nice carry case for it here, and inside the carry case you get the usual instructions, warranties, etc. in multiple languages, and we don't need that, do we? And to be honest, with this site you don't actually need the instructions. You get a video out cable that you can plug in, which allows you then just to use standard plugs, plug it up to an external monitor or into a TV, and you'll see that I'll do that later when I show you the footage of it. So that comes in included with it, and that's basically it, apart from, of course, the scope itself. So we'll get rid of the case, and there's the scope itself. Now the scope does not come with any rings. It is a standard tube on here, but these rings, you can add anything you want. So if you want to mount this on dovetail, which this one is, then you just buy yourself some dovetail rings, whatever size, whether it's low rise or high rise ones you want. If you want Picatinny, exactly the same with that, or you can put any attachments that you want. So it's a standard tube ring on here, so no problems at all with mounting the whole unit up. And we'll just take a look at the front. Obviously we've got the objective lens here. Now this objective lens basically allows you to cup your eye all the way over and push all the way in. You can actually pull this objective cover off if you want this rubber mounting off here. Not a problem at all. At the front of it then we have for eye relief, to allow you to focus to your eye, especially useful if you're a glasses wearer. So nice and simple, once you've got it set, everything's all in order, nice and easy there. And if we move across then, what we have on the side is we have a Picatinny rail, really useful for adding an external IR torch or any other accessories that you want to put on there. Up the top we have the battery compartment. Now with the battery, with these, I am really super impressed with this. The batteries that it takes are just 2 AA's. Look at that, 2 AA batteries. So what I've got in here is I've got some Duracell 2500 milliamp hour batteries. Plonk them in, bang, put them in, put the cover back on, twist it down. Now I'll leave links to the batteries that I know work really well with this. Again, I'll leave them down in the video description. But that's all it takes. There's no massive external power pack. Just keep a couple of batteries safe. And I found that with these batteries, anywhere between 2 and 4 hours usage. But it all does depend on whether or not you use the IR torch on this. And we'll talk about that in a bit. But basically what we've got then is the battery compartment, the Picatinny rail. Up here is the focus knob, so you can turn this knob here and just turn it. Hopefully you can see that. And that's your focus knob, which allows you to obviously focus your objective so that you can see your targets clearer. At the front then we just have a pop-up, and this is basically an aperture blocker. So if you find there's too much light coming into this scope, then you can just flip that down and that reduces the amount of light coming in so that you don't flood the image on it. And then if we turn the unit around, we have here the built-in IR torch. So it does have its own IR torch built in. Now if you use the torch, then obviously you're going to drain more batteries out of here, which is why a lot of people will put an external torch on the back end of it here on the Picatinny, and then use an external torch to save the main battery power. The main power the unit on button is just here. So if I press it once, hopefully you can see that that's gone green. Yes, it's just gone green. You just might make that out. So that's your main power button. Press and hold it again to switch it off. And then we then have a button down here, and this is like a little jog wheel. If I turn that, hopefully we can see that turning. So that's a jog wheel for the menu features, and you can press it as well to select your menu features. And that is pretty much it. There is just one other area in here which we can just flip this little cover over, and that allows you to plug in an external video cable, which I've just shown you, so you can connect it up to an external source like a TV or a little rifle mounted monitor if you so wish to do that. And then we have a blanking plate down here, which is probably used for the recording type versions. But that is the bog standard Yukon Photon for just under £400. Night and day sight. There's no messing around with having to flip modes or anything in it. Nice and simple. So how does it work? Well, if I pick this up and put this to my eye, I can see nothing. This is not a straight through optical scope. This is a pure digital scope. So what's actually happening in here? Well, very much like the ATM. In here is an LCD display, which is up here. An LCD display. And what you do is when you power it on, it's just like a camcorder. When you power it on, what you're actually looking at, and what I'm looking at the moment while I'm recording myself, is an LCD display, and that's what you're looking at through here. You're looking at an LCD display that is then projecting the image into your eye, and then laid over the top of that is a digital crosshair. And that's how the whole unit works, which is obviously why it requires battery power to keep it working. Because of it is also rated as a day-night scope, it's actually had the IR filter removed from the camera on here. So the image during the daytime can be quite bright because it has to have that ability to be able to pick up IR during the night. And that's where the built-in IR torch on the front works, to allow you to do that. And again, you'll see some videos on that. And that's why this aperture blocker becomes very, very useful. Because the camera chip in here is so sensitive to light for nighttime usage, you will probably find during the daytime that you will get a very flooded image. Now you can turn the brightness down by twisting this little dial here, which changes the brightness in the LCD, but you'll still probably find you'll need to use this. But what it does give it is the brilliant ability, basically during day, use the scope as normal, during night, it will pick up a lot of the background ambient light, and you'll probably still see, you know, for example, if you're shooting in a bright moon, you will not probably need the IR torch out to 20 to 30 meters. But at a click of a button, you can switch the built-in IR torch on, or you can use an external IR torch on the side, and suddenly you've got nighttime vision capabilities. Now, there is no other fancy gimmicks in this at all. There's no GPS, there's no Wi-Fi, there's no ballistic calculator. This is a fixed zoom scope as well, so you can't change the zoom. There's no recording facility unless you spend the extra amount to buy the recording facility version of this. So it's just a pure, simple, fixed zoom length, day and night digital scope. That's all this is. And that's obviously why the price point is so much lower than the competitors out there, for example, like the ATN. You're probably looking at 2/3 of the price for this. And the nice beauty thing of it, it is fairly light. We'll just have a look at some of the specifications on here. On the end of the box, they actually give them to you. So I'm just going to read these out. Its length is 398 millimeters across, so just under 40 centimeters all the way across. And its weight is 620 kilograms. Now, add a bit of battery in there as well. You're probably looking at 650, not kilograms, 650 grams for the weight of this. So it is quite a lightweight scope. And if I hold this, obviously it's a little bit heavier on the front end, but compared to one of the larger scopes, the optical scopes, it's not that far off. And nice and simple, really good, solid construction. Certainly weatherproofing on here. I wouldn't obviously go bashing it around like any other scopes, but it can certainly take a little bit of abuse, get wet as well. Obviously just look after it. And I do like the ability to be able to put any mounting option you want on the tube here. It's not, for example, like the ATM, which has a fixed Picatinny mount, and that's all you can do with this. This you can do whatever you want. So I'm really keen to have a play with this. So what I'm going to do is we've played around with it outside in the backyard in the daytime and the night time, just so that you can see the how good it is, what it's like with the image quality. I'll also go through the menu systems to show you what it has on board with it all, and hopefully then we'll come back and then we'll do some proper review on this and what I think of the Yukon Photon. Okay, so we're outside. We got the Yukon. We got it mounted on the Ultra SE, and you can see I've got the IR torch sat on the side. It's daytime at the moment, so obviously I'm not going to use that. And this elaborate display you've got me seeing here, it's purely so that you can see what's on the screen. So what I actually have is I have the Yukon connected up through its video output into a TV monitor, and then I've got another camera so you can see what I can see. So what I'm going to do is going to switch the unit on. I'm going to look at the screen, stare at the screen and use that. It's easier to do it that way for me. And I'll take you through the features and the image quality that you actually have with this. So I'm just going to press the button on the top of the IR, which actually switches the unit on. It comes on very quickly. The TV monitor, that took about a second or so for the signal to get through and for it to process to switch it on, but that was almost instantaneous switch on. And the buttons on here and the menu systems are extremely simple. Up the top, where the power button is, if I press it once, you can see that down in the bottom left hand corner we have IR with one little dot on it, and as I press it again you see the dots. I get 2 dots, I get 3 dots, and that's the power, the intensity of the built-in IR torch. Obviously that's for nighttime mode. The more you use that, the more it's going to drain your batteries, which is why nighttime most people will actually have an external torch. If I press it again, it switches it all off, and there we go. Down in the bottom right hand corner we've got a very handy battery indicator to tell you the charge of your AA batteries in there. Very useful for that. And then we have the menu system itself. Now if I just turn the jog wheel and just turn it, that is actually changing the brightness in the eyepiece on the LCD screen. You won't see that on the monitor, but that's extremely handy if it's a bright day or you need to turn the brightness up during night time to get better contrast, and it works wonders. It's really good on that. Then we have the actual menu system itself. So if we press and hold the button, it will bring up the menu system, and we can scroll through the menu system by using the jog wheel, and you can see that appear on the left hand side, a little arrow indicator showing you. And the first menu option is your reticles, and you get 6 reticles to play with. So let's take a look. Number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4, which I prefer, number 5, and number 6. So those are your built-in reticles, very handy. You can't change them, that's it, that they're built in. Press the button again, and then we can go down to next option. Next option allows us to change the reticle colour, red, green and white. I prefer the red. Press it again, and then if we go down to the bottom option, this is your zeroing. So it's a classic zeroing system. You take a shot, then you move the crosshairs, and you can move it in the X direction, and there's some numbers there to help you remember, so I'm just going to put it back to 5,
and then press it again, and you can change the Y direction. You can see that how we're moving that around there. And I'm just going to put that back to -1. So, yeah, to zero the rifle, just like you would with any other rifle. It is possible to two-shot it if you've got a well backlit target, so you can see the holes in the paper. You've only got a 4x zoom on this scope, so it's difficult to see where the pellets have gone. So you're going to have to use the classic zeroing methods on there. So we're out in the garden at the moment, and what I want to do is just very, very quickly, and let's just get rid of that menu option there. Press and hold to get rid of the menu option. Press and hold to get rid of it again. What I want to do is show you the quality of this. Now we're in an overcast day, the sun's not shining much at all, and I'm just going to scan this around the bottom of the garden. So we're out to about 20 odd meters there, 25 meters, and what we'll just do is we'll just bring this round, and there's my targets at the bottom. Now I focused this in previously, and we'll just bring this round a little bit further, right down to the bottom of the garden. That is out at about 40 meters, obviously at 4x zoom, so you've got a very good view of field of view there. And we'll come along, and what we do is we'll just bring it up to the tree lines and come up to the tree lines, and you can see the quality of the image, and there is zero lag in this image quality. We may get a bit of flickering, that's just my monitor causing that. You don't actually see that on the LCD when looking through the viewfinder, but you can see the quality is very good. It focuses very well, 4x zoom up to the top of the tree lines, and then we'll go down to the bottom of the garden, and we'll go down, and that is about 40 to 50 meters out. And we can see the quality is very, very good. Obviously it's a black and white image and not a colour image, but I'm very, very, very impressed with that. So, you know, I hate to do the comparisons of the ATN, but the ATN is very jerky, and you get a lot of image blur, and while it's trying to catch up and process the video. This thing is just quality. It is just perfect. It's just a shame it hasn't got a zoom on it, really. But you really couldn't get much simpler than that. You power the unit on, power it off, AA batteries, really, really nice. So that's what we're like in daytime mode. It's very nice. What we'll do is we'll come back and we'll do exactly the same thing, but we'll do it in nighttime, and we'll see the quality of the image then. Okay, so we're outside, and I've got the night vision set up with my Sony AX53. Hopefully you can see me all right. It's fairly ambient lightish around here. There's no bright moon, it's overcast. I can just barely make out the tree line with my eyes. But we can see on the monitor actually we've got nothing switched on. It's because we haven't switched the IR torch on the night sight itself. So I'm just going to press the button once, and we're on level 1. As we can tell down at the bottom left hand corner it says IR, and it's got a little single dot on it. I'm just going to move around and find my target, and you can see there's my target about 25 meters. And the quality of this is actually quite good. If you look at it, you can make out the chicken wire there. You could easily make out rats or rat eyes in there. And I'm just going to scoot down to the bottom of the garden about 40 meters. Okay, and there we are at 40 meters. Let's increase the intensity of the IR. So we'll put it on level 3, and we can see it's brightened up quite a bit. I'm just going to lift up there to the top of the tree line at the end of the garden. Now I know that's at 50 meters because I've range found it right to the top of that tree. So even up there, this built-in IR torch is actually working very, very well. Personally, I'd say this IR torch in good conditions will get you out from probably 50 to 60 meters very, very easily. And then we'll just scan along. We'll come back down to our target. And then you see, well, this is close range, so that's about 20 meters of molehill. Well, again, we can still make out the chicken wire, and we'll come up to the top of the other tree line, all the way up to the top again, and we'll just lift this all the way up, like so. And then we can see really, really nice crisp images. That's at about 30 meters up to the top of that tree up there. Very, very, very nice, and super, and again, you can just see as I'm moving it around, there's zero lag in this. I'm very impressed. Just switch it on, built-in IR torch on here. Now, a lot of people might very well go out and buy an extra IR torch. Let's just switch this one on. This is an example of an extra IR torch. You can easily just click that onto the Picatinny rail, and of course that will increase your range, your night sight capabilities by shining more concentrated light out a further distance. But I'm not going to do a review on them because all these torches vary in different powers, and we all know how they work. But I am really impressed with just the built-in IR on this site, and it is just simple to use. No complicated setup, no messing around with menus, no fiddling with buttons. You can change the brightness internally as well by using the jog dial, which changes the brightness of the LCD to stop you blinding yourself. Yeah, I'm pretty much impressed. So hopefully that sort of just gives you a demonstration of the night sight capabilities out to the sort of ranges that we'll be using as air gunners, you know, anywhere up to 50 to 60 meters, maybe a bit further, and of course you can certainly increase that range as well by adding IR touch.
Right guys, it's pitch black out here and I'm freezing my man boobs off, but I really want to show you this. This is amazing. So what I've got is I've got the camera set up. Hopefully you can see what I'm seeing through the Yukon Photon night scope, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you what it looks like without the rangefinder on and then with the rangefinder on. Just watch this, it's amazing. So we're on target now. We've got the Yukon and you can see that we're straight on target here. Absolutely perfect. Now what I'm going to do, watch this, you'll be amazed. I'm going to switch on the rangefinder, and the rangefinder has now switched on, and I'm going to set it into scan mode, and we're in scan mode. And can you see that, ladies and gentlemen? That is absolutely amazing. You can see the flashing. You can actually see through the night sight the actual laser flashing away. And I'm looking up, just use my peripheral vision, and I'm looking up. I can see that it's at 21 meters. I can just see it on the little display above. What I'm going to do is just going to move this bad boy across, and we're just going to scan down the garden a little bit further, and there's my targets at the bottom of my range there. And I'm now looking up, and that is at 31 meters. And you can see the laser just flashing. Now I'm slightly off center. I need to just adjust this a little bit more to the left using the windage screws on it, but it's just, hopefully this just shows you how absolutely amazing this is. So, oh wow, I'm at night sight here, and I am actually simply just rangefinder. I've switched it off now, and I'm going to switch it back on. I'm just using the rat tail here. Here's the rat tail, and I'm just going to switch it back on again. Look at that, range finding, and I'm back to 21 meters. Oh, this is just so good. I'm sorry, I really am lost for words. This is just fantastic.
So hopefully you enjoyed this part of it, the video, and we'll probably now go back inside where it's nice and warm and do some summaries.
So hopefully those videos show you the quality of the image and the functionality of the Yukon Photon. So time for a review on it, and as always I'll keep it as honest and unbiased as I can. I've got no skin in the game with this at all. So what do I think of it? Truthfully, I like it. I like it a lot. Now I am going to make quite a few references to the ATN Xi because it is a direct competitor, and I've got a lot of experience with that site. But this, I've been using this now for a good 2 to 3 weeks, and I love it. So much so, I'm actually thinking about selling my ATN and getting rid of it and getting one of these. Why? Well, the ATN's got so much functionality in it. GPS, Wi-Fi, rangefinder, ballistic calculations in it, record facilities. I think somewhere in the menu option it'll actually make you a cup of tea. But because it's got so much in it, it's so complicated, and it's a detriment to the performance of the actual ATN. So much so you become very frustrated with how slow it is, the image quality, the fact that when you zoom in and out it causes issues. This is basically a stripped down digital scope. It's got the pure basic bits that you need. What does it do? It allows you to see your target. It allows you to change the brightness of the screen simply. It is a day and night scope by just no operations at all. Just switch an IR torch on and it works. And you can change your reticle colours and just type of reticles, and you can zero it. But that's it. That's all it does. Nothing else. Nothing fancy. Because of all of that, it doesn't then have performance issues. It doesn't have upgrade issues, BIOS issues. It's not a computer on a scope. Because of that also, it doesn't take massive amounts of battery power. You don't need a great big external battery tank on this. This thing takes 2 AA batteries, and if you're using an external torch, like so, then this thing will last you 2, possibly 3-4 hours usage. Of course, if you do use the internal torch on here, then your battery power will go down. But you know what? Just keep a couple of AA batteries in your pocket. Easy. Most people, let's be honest, are going to use an external torch. Another thing I do like about it, Nice little Picatinny rail that you can put on, clip a torch on, and away you go. Easy, and that's what most of you are going to do anyway. Flip it off, quick release, they're nice, handy. So, yeah, it's stripped down. It gives you the basics of what you actually need. Simple menu system, simple construction. I like the way that it hasn't got its own proprietary attachment system, rail system. It is just a standard tube that you've got here. You can put any scope mounts on you want. High, low mounts on there, Picatinny, dovetail, whichever takes your fancy. You can put them on. You can put attachments over the top in between. I'll leave a video to a laser rangefinder video that I did where I put a Bob Love rangefinder over the top of this, and it worked brilliantly. Can't do that with the ATM because of the shape of it, the way it is, and because of all of that unnecessary stuff. Technology has been taken out of it. It's light, 650 grams with a battery in it. You know, that's not that much more than a normal optical scope on top of your rifle. So I've fallen in love with this, and I can see why so many people do rave about it. Its construction is really nice. It's got the nice rubberized exterior on it where it needs to be. Everything just functions really well with it, and of course you've got your built-in cap as well to block excess light. You know, and all of it, because of you stripped it all back and given you what I would say is a pure hunter's scope, then of course the price point comes in at just under £400 for this version, compared to £700 or more for the actual basic ATN X-Sight. So I can see why these are so popular indeed. I just love it. I think it's great. And because of all that functionality has been stripped back that you don't need, then you get no compromise in the image quality, and when you're scanning around, none of this lag on none of these issues that I was experiencing with the ATN. So yeah, I really do like it. However, there are a couple of drawbacks with it. There are a couple, and I will admit there are a couple. Number one is that if you do want to actually have recording ability, then you are going to have to start going up the price range. And then once you go up to that price range, for example, the basic model at £520, or for the 6x zoom one at £570, you're now starting to encroach on the price of the basic ATN. And then you've got a question to ask yourself. So no video recording here in the basic models with this. The fixed zoom, that sort of does get me. I can see why it's been fixed zoom, because it makes the electronics, it makes everything simpler and reduces the price and the weight. But I do miss not being able to zoom in. I have at times just like to zoom in to make something out, see what it is, because of, at the end of the day, we all do it anyway. When we're actually shooting, then we do usually keep out at a large field of view at a lower magnification, but I do miss it. And that is really, really evident when you're trying to zero this rifle, this scope, because of course it's only a 4x zoom, and you're generally going to be zeroing out to 20 to 30 meters. It is extremely difficult to see where the pellets have landed with this scope, so you'll find you have to use external monitors or something like that to see where everything's going with it. So I do wish that it did have a zoom, but I understand why it hasn't got it. So it's a minor niggle on my side, just a minor niggle. Another minor niggle with this is because of it doesn't have a day or a night ability. It is basically just an open lens, open LCD with the IR filter removed from the camera. During the daytime, this scope can suffer from the image being blown out because too much light and too much IR light is getting in, because IR does exist during the daytime. So you do get some contrasting problems. If you're trying to, say for example, spot a target up in a tree and it's very bright sky, and then it's very difficult to actually make your target out because it has contrast issues. You'll find that's why this part becomes extremely important, because of this camera in here can get flooded very easy with too much excess light. So that is another downside on it, but it can be combated with the actual aperture blocker here and by adjusting the brightness knob on here as well. But it is a downside, and you do need to be aware of that. But then the beauty of it is then because it functions and it's such a sensitive chip in here that when you go into nighttime, you don't need all of the fancy stuff. You just pick it up, you switch your IR torch on, and it just works on it. So overall, do I like this scope? Yes, I love it. Am I going to get one? I am seriously debating about selling my ATN and getting one of these because it just does the job. It gets rid of all that complication, all the stuff you don't need. Obviously it's cheaper as well, it's lighter. I think it looks nicer as well. You know, when I first looked at it, I thought, it looks ugly, it's big fat on the front. No, but it's grown on me, I really do like it. I'm just checking my notes, is there anything else there? No, I think I've done it, really. It's such a nice scope. So you guys, tell me down below, do you like the ATN? Do you have a Yukon Photon? Which do you prefer? What's your thoughts? What's your views on it? Let me know in the video comments down below. So, hopefully you liked my video review of the Yukon Photon. As always, if you found you'd like this video, please smash that like button or the dislike button. Give me the thumbs up, the thumbs down. Don't forget to subscribe. Check the video links down below. And consider being a Patreon as well. I'll leave the links lying around for you as well, because it all helps the channel. And as always, let me know what you think. Keep it all clean down below in the comments. And we'll see you next time for another video review. Bye-bye.